Good evening and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori. This is Africa 54. One day after U.S. Secretary of Defense Ash Carter announced that American sailors had conducted joint patrols with the Philippines in the South China Sea, the Secretary decided to go there. VOA Pentagon correspondent Carla Babb was with him for a first-hand look during his transit in the sea that is likely to inflame tensions with China.
Secretary of Defense Ash Carter visited the aircraft carrier USS John C. Stennis Friday as it sailed about 100 kilometers west of the Philippines in the heart of the South China Sea. Carter took to the flight deck for air demonstrations from the crew, then went down to the hangar deck to thank a crowd of sailors for their service. This carrier is massive. There are about 5,000 sailors here and about 75 aircraft, including 50 of these F-18 fighter jets like the one behind me. Why is all of this in the South China Sea? To keep international waterways safe and secure and open to everyone.
It's just a piece of a larger network of security that the United States is part of, and that's the key to keeping peace and stability here. And for the future, that's what we want for everyone, including China.
Sailors from the carrier strike group say they're used to seeing Chinese ships nearby.
We regularly have a ship or two operating with us or near us. We're open to anyone sailing in international waters with us as well as they are. They've been operating very professionally, and we've been very pleased with the interaction we've had.
And while China is characterizing the more robust U.S. military presence in the region as the cause of heightened tensions, Carter says that is backward thinking.
What's new is not an American carrier in this region. What's new is the context of tension which exists, which we want to reduce.
China claims almost the entire South China Sea and is militarizing land features also claimed by the Philippines. Carla Babb, VOA News, aboard the USS John C. Stennis.
Well, for more on Secretary Carter's visit to the Philippines, VOA Pentagon correspondent Carla Babb joins us live via Skype from Manila. Good evening, Carla. First, just share with us, what was it like being on the aircraft carrier?
Well, I got to tell you, it was such an amazing experience to just fly into the carrier and get caught by that cord. But I have to admit, it is so great to be back on dry land. It was so hot there. It's 106 degrees on the carrier, about 41 degrees Celsius. And you add those jet engines, just the heat coming off all those jet engines as they're taking off and coming back. It was like a sauna. But it was an amazing experience just to be there and see that, and it was very neat to see Secretary Carter talk with the troops and just tell them how much he appreciated having them here.
Yeah, now, what is the significance of actually being in the South China Sea for the U.S.?
Well, the South China Sea is just incredibly important to the entire international community. So much of the shipping goes in and out of this sea. And for the United States, it's incredibly important to be here in the Philippines and just off of the Philippines because they're such strong allies. This was the conclusion of the Ligatan joint exercises between the two militaries. And Secretary Carter and his defense counterpart here in the Philippines both said that this was a very important alliance and one that is just continuing to grow more and more. Secretary Carter just announced joint patrols with the Philippines in the South China Sea yesterday. This is huge. So far, the United States has only done joint patrols with Japan in the South China Sea. And so it looks like this is something that will continue to get bigger and bigger and stronger ahead.
Now, we know this is a very sensitive area, sensitive issue, but would it look like perhaps the U.S. is intentionally agitating China, especially by the visit of the Secretary there?
Well, I think China certainly thinks so, but the Secretary made it clear that this is not targeting China or any country. In fact, he said that he wanted to include everyone and that if it was fair to go by international law, then everyone would benefit. When I actually asked him about the Chinese comments saying that the Philippines and U.S. alliance was going back to the Cold War era, he says, that's crazy. The Cold War era is in the past and we live in the present and the future.
Very quickly, is this a kind of a perception just within China in terms of the aggressiveness, or is it something that is shared by any other nations in that area?
Well, this entire area is very concerned about the situation in the South China Sea. The Philippines, Vietnam, Brunei, many others actually claim different territorial waters and different land masses within the sea. China claims almost all of it for its own, and then that includes some of the international waters. So it's a very touchy situation because everybody wants their piece, and the United States is trying not to get involved in the actual disputes. They want the international law to decide the disputes, but the U.S. says that they are here to support their Philippine ally and also to protect those waters that are so crucial to international trade.
Carla, as always, excellent reporting. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, that's VOA Pentagon correspondent Carla Babb reporting live via Skype from Manila.